Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. Welcome to Apostate News. Welcome, everybody. Today is a good day, in my opinion, at least. I don't know. I woke up seeing the news and being quite happy about them. Not that I'm happy about the misery of other people, but I'm, of course, happy about the misery of somebody who has apparently done very terrible things and who has also said a lot of terrible things. But today we're going to talk about Andrew Tate. David, what's up?
First of all, everything you said is evil and stupid. Andrew Tate is innocent. You're just jealous because he's spreading his message to young guys to be strong and manly and to escape the matrix. And you can't take that because you're part of the matrix and you want men to be weak cowards. And so that's what's going on. And so free Top G. That's all I'm saying.
You're basically right. It is what it is. But anyway, that's okay. So for those who are not aware, today Andrew Tate has been officially charged, and his brother as well, and also two other individuals, by the way. So they were in house arrest for quite a while now. After they were arrested and held and appealed, they went to house arrest. They have been waiting for an official charge for a while. Earlier this month, the court said that they will probably officially charge them later this month. And just this morning, the news came in that they have actually presented the charges, the indictment that is now sent to the judge and will be sent to trial after it is reviewed, which might take a while, and the trial might take a very long time. But
yeah, they said maybe years.
Yeah,
isn't that insane? Wouldn't that suck? Whether you're guilty or innocent, a trial of years, that's gotta suck, man.
The good thing for the Tates, unfortunately, is if they can, so they're probably going to try to they're probably going to say we want to continue in house arrest instead of taken to custody. And if they are in house arrest during the whole trial and it takes endlessly long, then this house arrest, the time that they spend in house arrest, will be considered time served. Oh, well. So if they receive a sentence after years, then
yeah, you're right. If their trial goes on for which I mean, I have no idea how much evidence they have, but I mean, it's weird to hear of a trial lasting for years. I mean, against anyone. So I don't know if that's true or not. But yes, if they have a trial that were to take 2 years and then they were to be found guilty, yeah, it'd be 2 years plus the months they already did and so on. So that would already be a chunk of their time. And if they're saying that they face up to 20 years based on the charges, then that doesn't mean you're going to get 20 years. But, if you get 7 or 8 years or something like that, you've already done 2.5 just with the trial because you're on house arrest, then yeah, it wouldn't be you could take that.
That would be messed up. So
I do 2 years standing on my head, man. What the heck? 2 years. I'll go do 2 years in Romanian jail right now just for fun.
I bet it's a lot of fun. I bet it is a lot of fun. So
I was just gonna say, it's weird. It's like I would imagine that jails in Romania are worse than jails in the United States. But when I think about jail in the United States, you're either in a dorm or you're in a cell with, like, it's concrete and bars and a metal bed with a mattress on it. And it's like, well, how different could it be, right? Like, what is there to be worse? You take away the mattress, like, how do you make it? I mean, how could it be worse? Apparently, he talked about all the roaches and stuff like that, but that's pretty normal too. Roaches, mice running around, all kinds of creepy stuff. So yeah, I don't know.
What's funny? What's funny is that Andrew Tate chose to go to Romania because in Romania he could be comfortable. He could establish such a business and possibly get away with rape charges, as he previously said, and he thought there is a lot of corruption in Romania and he can make use of that. This is actually stuff that he said on camera. I know the guy is so dumb.
But along those lines, he also said, and this is actually very important. He said so that was the main reason he gave is he could just pay people off and stuff. So he wants to go to Romania. But he also said that the difference between a place like Great Britain and Romania is, he said, in Great Britain, they will just take a woman's word for it, whereas Romania won't arrest you unless they have hard evidence. A woman comes in and accuses you, they're not going to arrest you over that unless they find corroborating evidence and stuff. So it's like, wait, you're the one who said they would not arrest you unless they had good evidence. You're the one.
Now he turned it around. Now he says there is no justice in Romania. They have nothing on me. This is just, they're just trying to take away my cars and my wealth. Man. Isn't it so amazing how this comes around?
I've got to make his Bugatti, his Karanagami Bugatti for him. I got to get off my butt. It's just such a nightmare to do. There's my goodness, that's like 1 millionfold to make a Bugatti.
So let us get into this. And see what's happening. Where is this? It is right here, over here. All right, this is where we got it. So let's go to the New York Times.
Powerful.
New York Times.
The apostate prophet just trusts the media instead of mindlessly trusting Andrew Tate. You see?
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I also have a document here on the side where I have links to all kinds of videos by himself, and I'm sure we can bring those up. It would be amazing.
Yeah, because that's the point. I keep seeing from people whenever I say, "Oh, look at the charges against him" or something like that. They go, "Oh, you believe the media?" It's like, no. But I believe some of the things that Tate was bragging about for years. I believe that if he was doing some of the things he said he was doing, he was breaking laws. He was breaking lots of laws.
Absolutely.
According to him, it's a total picture. It's you have him saying he's doing the things. Then you have some witnesses corroborating, yes, he was doing those things. And then you have the investigators investigating to whether he really did those things. And then you have the media reporting that the investigators have found that he actually did those things. So it's kind of everything's pointing, and including Tate, before he started denying that he did all these things, everything was saying he did these things. And then he's saying, oh, but I never did those things, which is called gaslighting. Hey, everything I said to you and everything that that I was admitting happened, now I'm saying it didn't happen, and I expect you to go along with what I'm saying right now, not to hold all these things that I was talking about earlier seriously. And people go, okay, see, he never did it. That's all a lie. It's just the media and Tate and his brother. And my goodness, man.
This is actually, since we just talked about it, it would be funny to.
This is probably 40% of the reason I moved to Romania, because in Eastern Europe, none of this garbage flies. If you're going to go to the police and say he raped me back in 1988, you're going to say we should have done something about it then. If you go to the police and say he raped me yesterday, say, okay, if you've got physical evidence, or is there CCTV proof? Where'd it happen? Okay, let's go interview him right now. And if it wasn't really rape, I was like, we went to the club, we got drunk, she agreed to go back to my house, we started having sex, and then we carried on having sex, and then we had sex, and she didn't say anything wrong, and then she texted me afterwards, and I didn't text back, and now she's saying I raped her. The police would be like, okay, she's an idiot, bye. No, not in the West. In the West, you can tell them that exact story. You're still fucked. You're fucked in the West. People say, why did you live in Romania? And I explain my 5 reasons. One of them is the Me Too era. They go, oh, well, you're a rapist. I say, no, I'm not a fucking rapist. But I like the idea of being able to just say to do what I want. I like being free. And if you're a man living in England or Germany or America or any of the Western world right now, you've decided to live in a country where any woman, any ex, any fucking bitch who works at Greg's who bought.
Needless to say, we are listening to Andrew Tate today, so there's going to be a lot of language, just so you know.
Mm-hmm. Top G language.
At some point in the future can destroy your life. This Me Too era bullshit has not protected women. It's just destroyed the safety of men.
Does this sound like a very classy gentleman who has only good stuff going for him?
Top G. Yeah, I mean, and notice it's exactly what he said. He is specifically moving to Romania because they are not going to arrest a guy for rape, charge a guy with rape, unless they have serious evidence. And they spent since last year investigating a woman who accused him of rape, and then they filed charges. So a country that, according to Tate himself, will not, a country that is so good about only prosecuting rapes that they have good, solid evidence on, he moved to the country specifically because they will only charge you for rape if they have good corroborating evidence, not just a woman saying it. That's where he's just been charged with rape. And what are his fans saying? They've got no evidence. Wait a minute. Tate says they wouldn't charge him without evidence. Tate said that. He must have been completely wrong back then. Okay, so he's an idiot back then, but he's somehow super smart right now.
No, what actually happened is in the meantime, the Matrix took over.
The Matrix took over Romania.
Yeah, the Matrix took over Romania, which is why everything changed. Back then, it was all like this, but then the Matrix took everything over. Now, ooh.
I find it offensive that a police officer in England will stop me for speeding and then refuse to take a bribe and pretend that no, but I'll tell you why. Because he'll sit there and go, no, this is the law and order, and pretend that the law means something. And fuck me over. But if you're a billionaire or if you're Boris Johnson, you can go to Epstein's Island. You can fucking throw parties during COVID. You can do whatever the fuck you want, right? So the whole idea of law and order is a lie. The whole idea of it's bullshit. It's just about if you're high enough, you can throw it all away. I'd rather be in a society where if I'm in Prague and they stop me for speeding, they say, bro, you were speeding. Oh, here's $50. All right, cool. Bye. If corruption exists, which it does, let us all play. Why do only they get to play and I don't get to play? So you live in England and they're going to come around and spout law and order at you all day long, but the elites, they ignore all law and order. It's always been bullshit. It's always been lies. So they're going to sit here and lock you in your house or force you to wear a mask while they get to do whatever the fuck they want. And I don't like being anyone's peon or anyone's sheep. So I like living in a society where my money and my influence and my power means I'm not below or beholden to any of these bullshit laws. Because laws are laws, and the whole idea of law, the whole idea of justice, the whole idea of fair. Oh, you got me started now. All of it.
Fired up.
No,
Keep
let's
going,
go. All of it is a fucking lie. I don't think most people.
So this is just part of his whole speech on corruption, but he obviously explains how he likes corruption. There was another video which I couldn't find where he explicitly explains that he is in Romania because he likes corruption and he likes to corrupt the authorities in Romania. He has a lot of ties, and he actually is on video bragging about corruption and about exploitation in Romania while he is in Romania, and Romanian authorities now have the evidence of that.
Yeah, and he said that if he were to be arrested for anything, he said, I'm just going to walk in there with a stack of cash like this and start how much you want. I'm going to walk right out of there. And I mean, it's just amazing. By the way, when I think, what could possibly take years? I mean, what are they thinking of when they say this trial could take years? I mean, they've got the woman who's accusing him of rape. They've got, evidence that they put together a criminal organization. They've got the evidence of human trafficking, but what in there would take years? But I'm thinking, but when you just said that, I'm like, what if they actually want to go through all of his videos, right? What if they're going to go through all of his videos, have them translated into Romanian so that the jury can understand that? But then they also have to translate everything for him. Everything that they're saying in Romanian, they have to translate for him so he understands what's going on. It's like, man, if you're going through all of the stuff that he's been running his mouth about for years, that could take a lot of time, because he's been making videos for years. So if they actually want to go through every incriminating statement he's ever made, you're talking about a lot of stuff. So could be a long time.
There is an article written by The Insider, which I saw earlier while I was going through these things, which makes exactly that point, which says for years he spoke to people on the internet and published videos where he bragged about all of the things that he has done. And now there is no official investigation against him. All of the things that he said in the past will now become his nightmare. And there are also constant attempts to delete stuff from his Twitter account, apparently. Like apparently this morning he deleted lots of posts were deleted where he posted photos with women for some reason, or where he had those this animated girls on his photos.
Yeah, what was that? Was that, I don't even know what that was. I didn't even understand that. Was that?
I don't know. It's just I guess an appeal to an attempt to appeal to incels or something. I don't know. But yeah, lots of stuff is happening. Let's go through this quickly. So Andrew Tate indicted on charges of human trafficking in Romania. Prosecutors in the country announced an indictment against the antagonistic online personality known for his misogynistic remarks. He had been under house arrest outside Bucharest. I've been to Romania, by the way. Very interesting place.
Oh, so he's your homeboy.
He is.
That makes him your homeboy.
Yeah.
Did you ever bribe anyone?
No. I was trying to set up a cam girl. No, I went there for completely unrelated reasons. Andrew Tate, an antagonistic online personality known for his misogyny, has been indicted in Romania on charges including human trafficking and forming an organized criminal group related to the abuse of women. Prosecutors there said in a statement on Tuesday. So that there is actually the press release in Romanian, which you can have translated. Maybe we could look into that briefly. Mr. Tate, 36, a British-American former kickboxer, had been living in Romania and was arrested there in December last year, along with his younger brother, Tristan Tate, and 2 Romanian women. They were initially held in a Bucharest jail. The charges, by the way, are not just about Andrew Tate and about Tristan Tate. They are 4 people have been charged. It is Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate, and 2 women who have been working for them for quite a long time. And those women are accused of being top personnel in keeping the girls in line, threatening them, and so on.
And one of them is a former police officer who apparently was using her connections with police in order to sabotage investigations into what Tate was doing, and in order to get witnesses to get the girls to shut their mouths about things.
Yeah. That's, I don't know why this thing with my mouse cursor is happening again. It's probably Allah.
You see, Allah has spoken. He made your mouse mess up.
The 4 have been under house arrest since April. As did I just read that? Did I not? Okay. Since April, as investigations continued into the charges that were laid against them after they were arrested, which included a rape charge against 1 suspect, as well as human trafficking and forming an organized criminal group. With the indictment, they will now face a trial in a Bucharest court, though it was unclear when that would take place. The prosecutor's statement does not specify which of the suspects is accused of rape, but a Bucharest Court of Appeals document dated January detailing the decision to prolong the pre-trial detention of the Tate brothers appends Andrew Tate's initials to the charge. I thought it was clear that it was Andrew Tate who is charged with rape.
Yeah, I've seen that, but maybe the sites that listed the charges were. Maybe the New York Times being a little more careful, just saying, okay, the initials beside it indicate that he's the one charged, but maybe everyone else is just saying, okay, it's obviously Tate because it had his initials there or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so, but apparently the charges that only last year, they're making this look like all of this, this is all about stuff that happened long time ago. But okay, not last year. It is about, I think, March 2022 or something like that. But at that time, Andrew Tate is accused of having raped one of the women several times. And there are, by the way, a total of, I think, 7 victims right now. And just a few days ago, just a week ago, I think he was claiming that there's nobody, and the media is just making things up.
Yeah, and he was saying this was, like you said, he was saying this is all from many years ago. It's like, no, this is last year. Yeah.
The Tate brothers will attend a hearing on Wednesday morning, according to Matea Petrescu, a spokeswoman for Mr. Tate and his brother. Mr. Tate, who has a vast audience of mostly young male followers on social media, has a long history of misogynistic statements, saying that women belong to men, and has also portrayed men as victims of false rape accusations and feminism. He has denied the accusations against him in Romania, saying he was innocent both through his lawyer and to his nearly 7 million followers on Twitter. We embrace the opportunity it presents to demonstrate that their innocence and vindicate their reputation, said Ms. Petrescu, referring to the announcement of the indictment on Tuesday, calling the prosecutor's decision predictable. Of course, that's always what you say, right? Mr. Tate apparently chose Romania as his home and the base for his operations because he believed he would be able to do what he liked there. That's a link to, I think, the video that I just showed. I like living in a society where my money, my influence, and my power mean that I'm not below or beholden to any laws, Mr. Tate had told his fans. But the country has in recent years made efforts to tackle the endemic corruption and lawlessness for which it had long been known. Among the charges Mr. Tate faces are accusations that he and the other suspects formed a criminal group in 2021, not a long time ago, to commit human trafficking across Romania, the United States, and Britain. Prosecutors said that the brothers had misled women into believing they wanted to establish a relationship and housed them outside Bucharest, where they were forced to perform in sex videos online. This is a very important point to actually stand on, to pause and to talk about for a minute. When we talk about human trafficking, a lot of people get this idea that human trafficking is what you see in most of those movies, where a bunch of shady-looking guys with guns come and they have a van and they, kidnap people,
Put them in
throw them
cages,
there, put them in cages,
chain them to a wall and in someone's sex dungeon.
Yeah. And a bunch of rich people from around the world come and pick their favorite girls and buy them for lots of money. That's what they think, but that's not in reality how most human trafficking cases work. I earlier watched a video from a specialist on the case, on how it actually is. In most human trafficking cases, the victims are aware that they are being manipulated, but they are being manipulated and coerced, threatened with lots of things like, if you go out of here, you will be miserable, you will be in danger, this and that will happen to you. Just stay with me for a little bit longer. We'll figure things out, and so on. It is mostly emotional manipulation through delusions, the use of employees who help instill fear in the victims and to tell them that things will be better if they just stay and things will be terrible if they leave, and so on. And this method described here, misleading women into believing they wanted to establish a relationship and then turning them into employees for sex videos. This method is a criminal method. People don't seem to understand what this is, but this is known as the lover boy method. It is a very popular, very known method in human trafficking. Romania is very familiar with this, and this is part of the charges. And the issue with this specifically is that this is not just some accusation. These are not just charges that are baseless. There is no lack of evidence here. Andrew Tate repeatedly admitted in the past that he did this. He specifically bragged about it and described it. Very, very detailed.
I saw an interview with he was apparently whatever city he was in, he was famous for being a guy who's been a pimp for like 40 years, right? So he was still a pimp, right? And the interviewer was asking him, "Hey, do you have to beat your girls?" And he said, "I ain't got to beat them." He goes, "Ask them. They think I'm the best thing that ever happened to them." Right. So he's talking about if you manipulate them properly, they are convinced you are the best thing that's ever happened to them. But note, it's a lot of this is going to come in play with human trafficking, because if you convince a girl to become your webcam girl, that's not illegal. There are plenty of webcam companies in Romania. If you get her to come there and she's in love, probably not going to be anything illegal about that. If you show that they were not free to leave when they wanted to, if you coerce them, psychologically coerce them into staying, and that doesn't have to be locking them up. I mean, keeping them locked up or anything. There are all kinds of ways to do that. So I think it was Tristan who was talking about when they get there, we take their passports and we make sure they don't have any accounts in their own names, so that they actually can't go anywhere. They can't go get a plane ticket if they wanted to leave. They're actually trapped there. So that would be one way of it. But another way is you get the girl there, and anytime she gives some indication that she wants to leave, you start racking up debt for her. You're like, oh, okay, well, if you want to leave, fine. I paid for your plane ticket. I paid for your housing and so on, blah, 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 blah. You owe me $15,000 before you can even leave. You owe that to me. You can't get out of that. Oh, you don't have $15,000? Well, then you're going to have to work it off in that cam room over there.
Yeah.
And so you keep them like that, and you keep them in debt. So there are all kinds of ways to do it. But anyway, that's the difference between, like, if you trick your girlfriend, or if you dupe your girlfriend, or convince your girlfriend to do webcam porn, that if you haven't coerced her into staying or something like that, you're probably not going to be charged with human trafficking. So a lot of it's going to come down to whether I mean, it's dirtbag. It's a dirtbag move. You're a scumbag if you do that, but it might not be illegal. So the trial is going to come down to, did they coerce girls into staying? If so, guess what? That's human trafficking. It's not the worst form of human trafficking. It's not like taking little kids and selling them to old perverts and stuff like that. But that's still sex trafficking.
Yep. That is true. Here I want to quickly bring in a recent thing that happened. Now, a lot of people who are fans of Andrew Tate and who hate the media for different reasons, for which I do not blame them. And this is not about that. A lot of people thought that this recent interview by the BBC with Andrew Tate was a mistake, and that they did very poorly, that Andrew Tate completely crushed them, and so on. People don't really have an idea of what the BBC actually did here with this interview. The BBC specifically planned questions to ask Andrew Tate to then get denial out of his mouth, and to then put that out there into the world. And they did their job very well, because we just talked about the Loverboy method. Let's look at a little bit of this interview here.
You're not.
But you have admitted using emotional manipulation to get women to work in the webcam industry for you.
No. We have an open criminal investigation.
You heard that, yeah? He said
emotional manipulation. Guys, emotional manipulation is using a girl's emotions, like getting her to fall in love with you in order to get her to become your webcam girl. And he just denied it.
He just denied it.
He said for you, the man literally has a PhD program on how to do it.
I'll get to it. But you hear it. He's clearly saying no.
Nope, didn't do it.
He's clearly saying no, right?
Wasn't me.
I am absolutely and utterly sure I'll be found innocent. I know the case better than you. I know it intimately and you don't. I have seen all the criminal files and the evidence against me and you haven't. I know the truth of what happened and you don't. And I'm telling you absolutely and utterly, I've never hurt anybody, that the case that's been put against me is completely and utterly fabricated. And I'm never going to be found guilty of anything. And it's very difficult for me to answer your in-depth questions because we're sitting here inside of the territory of Romania. I'm beholden to the Romanian legal system. And I'm not going to incriminate myself.
Let me read you.
And he just incriminated himself by lying. So
yeah. So notice this is a problem. Like people are posting. Some people have been posting that he's not very smart. He's dumb and so on. He's actually very smart and very well spoken. He's smart in certain ways. He's like not book smart because he doesn't believe in reading, unless it's for a photo op with the Quran. But his biggest flaw is that he is a narcissist. That is his biggest flaw. And one of the defining features of someone like Tate is he believes he's invincible. He believes he can outsmart anyone. And that's why he can blurt things out over a period of many years. He doesn't think you can get him. In fact, right now, it's like a coin flip. Like, is he going to try to get out of there? Like, is he going to try and get out of his house someplace and then get smuggled to Dubai and then they won't extradite him or something like? Is he going to try something like that? Or is he just going to go to court thinking I can outsmart all of you? I will be able to talk my way out of all of this. This guy, his level of narcissism, he probably believes he can walk into court and talk his way out of everything. Because, and by the way, you Tate fans out there, you're part of the reason. You guys, he conditions you to mindlessly accept anything he says, but you condition him to think he can get away with all this stuff, because when he spends years talking about manipulating girls into becoming his webcam girls and having this on his website, And then when it's pointed out, hey, this is what you've done, he says, no, those are clips taken out of context. And you guys run around going, oh, those are clips taken out of context. Those are clips taken out of context.
Exactly.
Those are clips taken out of context. And where he could change his story every single day, and you just believe whatever he says most recently. Like, again, he could come out tomorrow and said, oh, of course that was my method. And you would go, of course that's his method. And then he says, no, that was my never method. That was never my method. You can say that the next day and you go, it was never his method. And then you could point out the deception, and you could point out the deception, say, wait, he said this right here, he said that right there. And then he could respond to that and go, no, you're taking that out of context. And you would all go, he's taking that out of context. That programs, this is what happens with manipulators. They manipulate other people and they condition them to think in a certain way, but then that conditions them as well to think that they can get away with all this stuff because everyone's just going to agree with them. And that could actually be his downfall. He could really believe, I'm going to walk up into court and they're going to be playing these clips and I'm going to gaslight everyone and I'm going to expose all these guys and I'm going to outsmart all these guys and I'm going to get away with it and beat everyone. I'm going to be the hero of the universe.
Hey, wait a minute. First off, Eli, thank you so much, or Eli, thank you so much. I appreciate it very, very much. And we also have a special guest here with us. Hey, Nuri, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you both?
Good. Thank you. I'm very happy that you could make it.
Yes, same here. Can I just say the way that David says Bugatti cracks me up?
Oh, Bugatti? Yeah.
Bugatti.
Real time Bugatti.
I don't know if you saw it, Nuria, but me and AP were talking about like what to do when you're making a joke, but people are too dumb to realize you're making a joke. Like I was saying Sahih Bugatti, and then I get all these Muslims sending me messages. It's Bukhari, you idiot. You don't even know what it's called. So dumb, lol. And it's like,
oh my goodness.
Very, very smart people, man. But yeah, Nuria, I know you like Andrew Tate a lot. You're a big fan.
Biggest fan right here.
Yeah. Just kidding. Just kidding. How you doing?
I'm here to defend him, cheerlead. No, honestly, AP, like you said, it's a good day. This is the first thing when I turned on the news this morning. Yes, there's issues with all mainstream news. We know that. But I turned on the news this morning, and one of the first things I saw was this. And like having the first sip of my morning coffee, I was like, today is a good day. Regardless, today is a very good day.
Exactly. And it's very funny. Just several months ago, I think in January, there was an article which was shared, and he also made an announcement when he was first arrested. After he was first arrested, he said that the case file is completely empty. There is nothing. This is just a harassment campaign. It is the Matrix. They're trying to intimidate him and things like that. There's nothing against him at all. And now, 5 months later, he himself says that he has seen the files, and there is a lot of evidence. Now he calls the evidence bogus. He says it's all fake. It's just to take his money away, to take his wealth away. That's what he says now. But it's very interesting how he changes the narrative so much. At first it was just a harassment. There is nothing. Now it is a lot of people. I think that the current news is that it's 7 people, at least 7 victims. Now he changed it into this is all just a smear campaign. I will not be found guilty. If in the end he is found guilty, he will change the narrative again. And guess what? Lots of people who are fans of him, even if he is found guilty, and even if he does plead guilty, will still say this is all a game by the Matrix. This is all just because he speaks out so much, because he exposes them, and so on. I mean, how are you possibly going to change these people's minds?
Yeah, exactly. And like AP, kind of what David was alluding to as well, like anything he says, and even if he goes back on his own statements, they'll just say, oh, that was taken out of context, or that was said at that period of time. And it's like, obviously, look at who his followers are mostly, like these teenage boys, and the fact that they love how so many young boys have converted to Islam. But you guys won't believe it. I got off listening to a Twitter space where they were equating everything that's happening to Andrew Tate with the global agenda for Islamophobia, because they're like, when did he get arrested? He got arrested as soon as he reverted to Islam. Since then, he went to solitary confinement, then he went under house arrest. And this is like a wider global agenda. And so then they were having this internal discussion. AP, you would have laughed so hard. They were like, how do you expect him when he's been in house arrest for so long to read the fix of how short his short should be, or why music is haram, or why you shouldn't read the Quran naked? Then they started arguing that actually
boy.
it's a translation of the Quran, so it's not that deep.
So people, it doesn't even make sense that he would be arrested because of that. I think, as far as I remember, he announced that he converted to Islam in late October, and he was arrested when, like in November, December. But by then, there would have been a long investigation up until his
and
arrest.
he knew he was being investigated. So
Yeah.
all you Tate fans who are watching, what makes more sense here? Hey, I know they're investigating me. I know what I've done. I know who's accusing me. And so I know I am inevitably going to be arrested, charged, something like that. And therefore, I really want to get in good with some people in Dubai in case I need to bolt for it. And so, I'm a Muslim now. Does that make more sense? Or, yeah, I converted to Islam and now everyone's making up stuff about all this rape stuff and trafficking stuff that I've been bragging about for years. And since I'm a Muslim now they're going to believe all the stuff that I said about all the trafficking and then make up witnesses. And so it's like, it's like seriously, guys, when you have an explanation where it's very easy to understand and very obvious, and hey, just take the things he was saying somewhat seriously about the stuff that he's been doing. There are all sorts of charges involved there. He was breaking all sorts of laws. So take that remotely seriously and you see why he would be arrested. So that's an explanation. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Guys do stings for years. They get away with them for years. Eventually it catches up with them and they get in trouble.
Yep.
Pretty easy to understand. Versus it's this giant matrix conspiracy because I'm inspiring young boys to be self-sufficient and to get Bugattis and lots of girls. And so they're mad at me for being Muslim. It's like, are you insane? Are you guys insane that you believe this?
But
Okay,
David
let's
also wiped his sins. Sorry, they said that as soon as he converted, all of his sins were changed into good deeds because
of course, yeah.
on the path, AP. But yeah, let's watch.
That's just amazing, isn't it?
Then what you have said about what you have done.
Look, this is the good plan that BBC is doing here, which people who love Andrew Tate are not getting, maybe because they just don't get it. But here,
You have said, my job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, get her to fall in love with me to the point where she'd do anything I say, and then get her on webcam so we could become rich together.
I don't think that's what I personally said. I think
That's exactly what you said on your website.
Notice that's exactly what you said.
so
That's word for word exactly what you said. I don't think I said that.
what's funny is it goes on and he keeps saying stuff like you made this up and you make a lot of things up, everyone knows the BBC is lying, and so on. Now look at this. Literally, that was my job. Wait, I have a better picture of that right here somewhere. Okay, here. My job was to get women to fall in love with me. Literally, that was my job. My job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, test if she's quality, get her to fall in love with me, to where she'd do anything I say, and then get her on webcam so that we could become rich together. This is part of his own website, cobratate.com/PhD program. PhD, by the way, stands for, I can show you a reference of that too, stands for Pimping Hose Degree. That's what he prepared for his, for the people who pay him $300 and something to learn also how to recruit women and to establish a webcam business. This is from his own website, which he explicitly promoted and told people about all the time. And we even have footage of him specifically mentioning this website. I want to do something very funny here, actually.
And saying the exact same thing. And by the way, you can tell this is Tate because it sounds Tate has a certain like cadence to what the way he speaks and so on. The words he uses, like to test if she's quality, right? He has a way of speaking. You can tell this is Andrew Tate. But then, yeah, as you pointed out, AP, there are video clips where he says the exact same thing, and yet you can have his followers watch that BBC clip of him saying, "Oh, I never said that. That's not my website." And his followers will go, "Nope, he never said that. It's not his website."
Let me do something here. Let me do something very, very funny here. I will keep this open here, and now I will play the video again. Okay.
Then what you have said about what you have done.
Sure.
You have said, my job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, get her to fall in love with me to the point where she'd do anything I say, and then get her on webcam so we could become rich together.
I don't think that's what I personally said. I think
That's exactly what you said on your website.
No, I've never said that. That's something that you found on the internet. Doesn't mean I've said it.
In your words.
And again, once again, if any female on the planet
Hey, look. Hey, here's how it'll go down in court. Hey, Mr. Tate, here's a video of you saying that this is your website, and here's a video of you saying that that is what you did, and here's you on the BBC saying you didn't say that, and then Tate will be like, "Oh, yes, because if you look at the actual quote, I said test and see if she's quality."
Yeah, she missed that part.
And the BBC left that out, so of course I didn't say that. They misrepresented what I said, so that's what I meant. And his fans will go, "Oh, brilliant! Alhamdulillah, brilliant defense, Tate." But by the way, AP, it was to be fair. There have been critics of him, but one of his critics, who is a Muslim woman, actually went, because all the Muslims saying, his sins are wiped clean and so on. She actually went to his new website, War Room or whatever, and asked if the PhD program is still available, and they said yes. So just pay your money, you could do the pimp and hose degree. So he's still making money off the pimping hose degree, which is how you train. You just saw the description of it. It's manipulating girls to fall in love with you so that you can turn them into your webcam girls. And he's still doing this and sees nothing wrong with it.
That's I think Sabrina. I think that's what's her name? Something like that. I don't know.
Sounds something like that. Yeah.
She actually did that. She published a whole video in which she shows the whole correspondence where she gets in touch with the website. From the website, somebody by the name of Morpheus responds, of course, obvious. And then she asks about the PhD program, and they tell her that the PhD program is a part of the War Room or some other room, and that she can pay to become part of it and to learn. It is still to this day up on his website. Maybe in the meantime, I don't know, it was there a month ago. It was still on his website. He was still teaching people in exchange for money how they can do exactly what he did. And let us hear it again from his mouth here.
It's on my website.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
On corporatetape.com, I have my PhD program.
It's the website you've taken down, and I wonder why those comments have been taken down.
That teaches basically how I got girls, how I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me.
You have said you emotionally manipulated people here for your own financial gain.
No, absolutely not.
Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me. And that's how I got rich.
Your website, your words.
It's on my website.
Yes.
It's a weird situation because, I mean, gaslighting is a classic manipulation tactic. Just deny it and then make the other person doubt themselves and doubt, am I really positive? Because notice, normally, if you said something and a person kind of remembers you saying it like years ago, and you just flat out deny it and you say it like with real confidence, no, I didn't. I didn't say that. You can make people doubt their memories and so on. Like, I mean, well, maybe did he really say it? I don't know. Did I just hear that he said that? That's what gaslighting is. It's just, hey, manipulators of the world, you need to understand you're living in an age where as soon as you start gaslighting people, they can actually pull up the video clips and show where you said these things. So it doesn't work as well as it used to. Find a new manipulation tactic.
There is even more. I mean, there is, we can go on with the article now, but there is a lot more stuff. Like they only brought the charges right now, which they announced, but the indictment with these charges doesn't mean this is the end to the charges. Apparently, there are also talks of more charges that are pending and that will be added to the trials. So, and some of them include things like trafficking minors, trafficking girls that were 15 years old, 16 years old, or even lower. And I'm not sure if this is part of this article, but there is something very messed up, which I think is also a very important thing to look at very briefly. In this video, he actually mentions something about 15 and 16-year-olds, and I want everybody to hear this for a minute. I think this is the video. This should be the video. Let me see.
Let me just say in advance, you're taking this out of context.
Oh yeah, definitely.
First big money I ever made in my life. I first became a multimillionaire by running a webcam studio. So I had beautiful women sitting on computers talking to guys on webcams from all around the world. That's how I first made my money. And at one point, I had 75 women in 4 locations working for me, which was stressful and the wrong way to do it. I ended up removing my army and going to special forces of around 15 people, 15 girls. And me and my brother made a lot of money doing that. But the PhD course, the Fifth and Ghost degree, was teaching people how I managed females in those scenarios, how I controlled their emotions, how I convinced them to work and give me most of their money, how I convinced them to share me with others.
Did you hear that?
Controlled their
emotions, but that's not it. That's not the highlight here.
Why they obeyed me. So it was never so much about out there picking up girls. It was actually something else. It was more about the psychology of things. And I was saying, look, I'm a theorist. Here's the theory. Yeah. That's fine. And he's managed to be quite successful just doing that. If he were to start lying and saying, I'm fucking all these 16-year-old women or 18-year-old women, whatever the law is in America.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. What I'm doing with all these, oops, what's the law? Yeah. Did I just admit to breaking the law? 16. Yeah, 16.
It continues. Well, listen to that part again.
16-year. If he were to start lying and saying, I'm fucking all these 16-year-old women or 18-year-old women, whatever the law is in America. 18?
Whatever the law is, that's who I was boning.
Yeah.
All right. In Romania, 16. Sorry. So if I'm fucking all these 18-year-old women, blah, blah, blah. Well, then he's added
Even though the law in Romania is 16, maybe. Do you remember he started with 15? And Romania is known to be lax anyway when it comes to the severity of punishing anything when it comes to like rape. And that's why they've been saying that they're going so hard on Tate just to be like use him as a test case, because obviously Romania is part of the EU and they've got this reputation of being so lax and like a hub for human trafficking that they almost have to prove themselves wrong by going hard at him, because like you guys mentioned earlier, he actually cussed out the Romanian like authorities himself and the judicial system and the police. So it's
I just want to play this again because I find it so revealing. I mean, anybody who is here and who thinks Andrew Tate is just a completely cool guy who teaches people great things, please just listen to this again.
Or to start lying and saying, I'm fucking all these 16-year-old women or 18-year-old women, whatever the law is in America. 18?
It's 18 usually. You get married at 16.
All right. In Romania, 16. Sorry. Yeah. So if I'm fucking all these 18-year-old women, blah, blah, blah. Well, then he's added a bunch of lies on top of the character. I don't understand.
So he slips out 15, then says not 15, sorry. 16 is normal to him. He's in Romania, and having sex with and luring 16-year-old girls is normal for him because that's how it is in Romania. Now, some people might say, well, you know, it's not illegal in Romania. I'm pretty sure that there is also an issue of the discrepancy between the ages of one party versus the other party. But all of that, of course, is detail that I currently don't know about. But what is interesting is that one of the currently pending charges is allegedly the trafficking of minors. And here he is. So that there is a victim who was a minor, who was very, very, very young, and here he is just slipping out 15 and then talking about 16 is okay.
Daniel Hakikachu would watch this and go 15. So Tate is interested in older women.
Oh boy.
I mean, this is really messed up, especially when you combine it with Tristan's video where he talks about his method of seducing virgins and how he likes to seduce whatever he said, 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 or whatever virgins per year. But he says they take a lot longer than, so you have to actually invest a couple of months' time into seducing virgins, and that the goal, he said the sex isn't even good because they don't know what they're doing, but you get to leave your imprint on them. And it's like, these guys have serious mental health problems. Like, your goal is to leave your psychological imprint on young girls and ruin them for their future husbands. And so it's like, what's wrong with you, man?
But I'm not sure if this is the one, but that's a very interesting video too.
Escort and bang her. I could go to Dubai and bang the exact same escort. Why would I want to? That's disgusting. However, in my situation, you get access to girls that no one else has access to. when you run game like me and meet the women who I meet and roll in the circles I meet, you meet beautiful virgins sometimes. Me, I'll do 2 or 3 virgins a year. Now, how do you date a virgin when you're an ice cold player? There is a tactic which I'm going to share with you on how to date a virgin, how to take a girl's virginity. That is the recipe. I'm sorry, guys. You want to run into a virgin and fuck her the next day? Don't ask me how. I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. I don't even think it's possible. You have to be their boyfriend for an extended period of time. You then have to take her virginity on the 2nd month anniversary or something along those lines. And I'm going to teach you how to do it.
It goes on about how to then dump her, drop her, and move on to the next virgin. And he does it all the time. And he will teach you, if you pay for his course, to also do that, to be great like him and to have sex with virgins all the time. Because having sex with virgins is, of course, what a great high-value man does. He takes their virginity and then he moves on to the next virgin and so on. What do you think?
Powerful.
It's absolutely disgusting, honestly. The way they talk about women, it's literally like, driving a car or something. It's literally like that. I'm going to teach you how to do it. Like there's a formula, a recipe that they're literally selling. When I didn't even know that PhD stood for what it stood for, AP, until you said that today. I'm sickened.
I know, right? That's what it stands for, and he propagates that all the time. There is let me bring this up quickly here as well. If you have,
but AP, I'm surprised. Did Tristan not convert to Islam? He's obsessed with deflowering virgins.
he's not a Muslim officially. He just defends Islam as well, and he defends Muhammad's pedophilia and all that.
Mm-hmm. And he refers to Muhammad as Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, but he has not actually converted.
Yeah.
PhD program. That's right.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
So yeah, on CobraTate.com, I have my PhD program, and that is PhD is pimp and hose degree that I'm.
Clever.
It's out of context. AP took that out of context.
So classy, right? PhD program means pimping hose degree.
That teaches basically how I got girls, how I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me.
Isn't that what he said? Isn't that what he said that he told the BBC he didn't do?
Yeah, he precisely says to the BBC that he never said that. He never did that, and never said that. There are many instances. There's another video in which he, I think, explains it in more detail. I think actually that should be. I think this one should be it.
All the work for you haven't fucked. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. The PhD course is my recruitment system. I don't mention webcam until after I've had sex with the girl. If you're on dates and you're trying to mention it and shit, it just doesn't work. It puts them off. I'd never do that. That's disgusting. I'm not a whore. It's just not gonna work. You continue as normal, no mention of webcam. You fuck the girl. After you fuck the girl, you do the PhD test. If she passes the PhD test and she wants to be with you.
Do you see, Nuria, how do you feel about the fact that this is how he talks about women? Like the women are just objects that he just picks out, and then he does the PhD test, the pimping hose test, where he checks if they are quality girls who could pass or not.
I have no words, honestly, AP. Like, it makes me sick to my stomach, because what you're seeing here is, like, just to touch on what you guys were saying, it's like the narcissism, first of all, but it's like classic predatory behavior. Then there's so many elements of like manipulation, emotional abuse, coercive control, and then like, the elements of human trafficking that come into it, like taking away their passports and saying that, fine, you're going to pay for me getting you to this position that you're at right now. You've got to pay me for everything that I've worked towards you, by taking away all their autonomy. He's a classic abuser. And it's just disgusting the way he's penetrated the minds of these young men with such things that are non-thoughts, like, oh, make your bed in the morning, work out, eat healthy, look good, be a top value man. Like, that's how. And then this part is the most sickening, because that's when you're actually getting into criminal territory where you are using women as chattel, as sex objects. And it's just, I never even talk about him, but I thought today was a big day, so I would come in and show my disgust with you guys. But
yeah, and he's also talked about
here's, by the way,
getting girls.
I just want to show this very quickly. There's a report from this girl who was 16 at the time. Yeah, she was 16 years old. She was in high school. She said it was very obvious that we were high school girls. And Andrew Tate messaged her out of the blue, Romanian girl, Strawberry, and she never messaged him back. But she took this to the media, and he explains also in a different video at some point that you should never go like, hi, hey, how are you doing? What's your name? You should always just start with something random, like remarking something about them, like where they are from, and then attach an emoji to it. Precisely what he does here in this in this message that this girl shared, which she received when she was 16 years old.
He's also talked about getting girls. I think he said most of the girls that he got to do webcam porn had never thought about doing webcam porn. They weren't going to do that. And he even said, if you bring this up early on before they fall in love with you and you've had sex with them and then you've gotten them to, do whatever you want, that they'd be like, no, ew, I don't want to do that. And so this is a guy who, I mean, he said 75 girls at one time. So, and there's, they're being traded in and out and so on, but these are girls who were not going to do this, that he then conditioned into being porn webcam girls, and they weren't going to do that. He gets them to become that, and then eventually, they get a little older or whatever, and then he abandons them. But he's converted these girls into being into doing pornography. And that's something that's going to you've changed the course of that girl's life. And I've said, hey, if someone does horrible things, I mean, you could do some serious horrible things and eventually recognize that you're wrong. Renounce everything you've ever done. Take whatever steps you can to make those things right. You can't undo them, but you can always take steps to make things right. So if he had come out and said all these horrible things he's done, apologized, made any sort of restitution he can, condemned that, told all the young guys that he had convinced into thinking that this is how you treat women and girls, and told them, stop that. I was wrong. Do not ever do that. And then, started something to fight human trafficking. And so I'd be like, okay, you're on the right course now. But that's not, I've never seen any indication from him that he condemns these former things. It's all just, now I'm a self-help guru, so let me just pretend none of that ever happened and lie about it.
There's something really messed up. There was in the past a voice message revealed in the media of him talking to a woman who complains about how he treated her and how he had sex with her against her will and things like that.
You said Vil, you German.
I know. and they released it, and people who listened to that started saying, like, his fans started saying, oh, this is obviously fake, obviously AI generated voice, and so on. That's immediately how it went. But there is plenty of evidence of that. There is evidence. We talked about this right before the stream. There are leaked messages of girls who tried to escape from the Tates and their compound. They message each other to make a plan on how to escape, how to run away without anyone noticing. And this is out there. This is in the media. This is right out there in front of everyone's eyes. The investigation, the prosecution will take that as evidence as well. But Andrew Tate fans started saying things about that, like, "Oh, this is just misconstrued, clipped, changed in such a way to make him guilty." In fact, they themselves, I think, started manipulating that whole thing.
They did. They photoshopped it. So what it was in context, it's these text messages between girls, and they're talking about how they need to be great actresses to keep the Tate brothers from realizing that they're planning on making an escape, right? They're planning on getting away. And so there are these text messages about, hey, we need to be great actresses. And then they're praising themselves. Oh, that looks so real and so on. But then Tate's fans photoshopped it to make it look like this is what the girls need to be great actresses to lie about them when they're talking to the prosecution and when they're talking to police and so on. They made it look like that. And then everyone starts instantly circulating this photoshopped and rearranged version of the text messages to make it look like the girls are conspiring to lie about the Tate photos, not lying to them to get away from them, but like they're plotting to lie to police about them. And it's just like, I mean, keep in mind, someone actually had to read all of these messages, see what actually happened, and then chop it all up, twist it around, and make it look like something completely different. And then all of Tate's fans mindlessly share this. Now, if I were to fall for something like that, because notice, if I didn't know anything about it and I saw those messages, I'll be like, oh, these girls are conspiring. Hey, Tate's got a point. These girls are conspiring against him. But if I then saw that it had been Photoshopped, I'd be like, okay, whatever's coming out of Tate's camp, I can never trust it again without verifying, because these are people who are deliberately lying and misleading in order to deceive gullible people. I would never trust that again. But you can line up 1,000 Tate fans, show them that, hey, do you have a problem with completely twisting what these girls said in order to make them look guilty, when if you read it, if you read it as it stands, as it is, the Tates look guilty. Do you have any problem with doing that? No, he's top G. These girls are evil. They're bad. They deserve what they get. And it's just pretty creepy stuff.
Yeah, it's cult like following. You can see it, like, I mean, when anything you go onto with the comments, even you just see it, and then you combine that with, like, you know, some of the young Muslim like the fervor as well. It's absolutely crazy. Now they think that there's also like a bit of a divide going on between them. But AP and David, just to like let you guys know how much he's affected like the teenage kind of population in the UK. Schools here have had to actually re-educate the boys, like take them to separate classes and kind of teach them about basic things like misogyny, gender equality, you know, how, like, what feminism actually means, the kind of things that Andrew Tate's propagating. I went and gave a presentation against violence against women and girls at one of the schools here that's an all-girls school, and I was like, how many of you have heard of Andrew Tate? And all of their hands went up. And then we were like unpacking what it means to like be misogynistic or be violent against women and girls. And they were saying, like, they were disclosing things like there's a concept about rape a girl day going around. And people quote Andrew Tate when they say that, and they're sending their friends messages. And we're scared when we go home from school because these like guys from the boys' school are planning this stuff. And it's like they completely link the way these young guys are thinking, these young boys are thinking, to what Andrew Tate has said, whether it's through Hustlers University or through his crap on Twitter or social media or whatever. And it's just, yeah, it's possible with all that, be a man, and men are dominant, and it's just so far reaching, the consequences.
Yeah. And it's especially messed up when you can convince people that there's a conspiracy against you. So in this case, the Matrix. Then whenever you try to explain anything to anyone who has fallen for this, you just look like you're part of it, right? You look like you're part of the Matrix. In other words, that's the thing about conspiracies. If I say everyone is conspiring against me right now, and then I walk up to you and I say, hey, AP, are you conspiring against me? And you say, no, I'm not conspiring against you. I say, aha, that's exactly what I would expect you to say if you're conspiring against me. It's like, once you have the conspiracy theory, there's no way to refute the conspiracy theory. You don't allow any of that evidence to any evidence will fit into the conspiracy. So
exactly, if you align yourself with anything.
I just noticed something. Finish your thoughts, but I would like to read the press release.
I was just saying. So if you convince young guys that there's this massive conspiracy to convince young guys not to be real men, and you educate these young guys to think that real men are these, top G Tate fan types, then when teachers see how you're actually starting to treat girls now and realizing the dangers, and you just say, guys, we need to go through this and correct some of your views. That's exactly what I would expect from the Matrix, right? The Matrix is waiting. The Matrix sees the influence that Tate is having, and now the Matrix is fighting back. So you're sitting there trying to tell a kid that these are bad ideas, and he's just sitting there thinking, "Oh, you pathetic Matrix! You think you can brainwash me? No!" And it just sucks.
Yeah. I want to read this press release from the directorate for Organized Crime and Terrorism in Romania, which is investigating this whole thing. This is what they published today. This is a very rough, probably terrible translation because it's a Google automated translation, but it might give more detail about the whole case. So it says, through the indictment dated 15/6/2023, the prosecutors of the Directorate for the Investigation of Organized Crime and Terrorism, central structure, ordered the prosecution of 4 defendants, 2 people with dual citizenship, British and American, those are the Tate brothers, and 2 Romanian citizens for committing the crimes of constituting an organized criminal group, human trafficking in a continuous form in relation to each individual defendant. 4 material acts, 3 material acts, 6 material acts, and 5 material acts relative to the number of injured persons, continued rape, 2 material acts, illegal access to the computer system, alteration of the integrity of computer data, instigation to hit or other violence, and hitting or other violence. I guess this whole computer system means refers to the corrupt former police officer getting into the legal system and actually manipulating things and spying for the Tate brothers and telling them about the investigation and all that. So lots of counts of human trafficking, 2 counts of rape, and a lot of counts of actual conspiracy and manipulation of the system. These people are in huge trouble. I'm not sure if people are getting this, but this is
what's crazy is there are also all sorts of like lesser charges, which are nevertheless serious charges, but not as serious as these. Like just when Tate says that any money he earned, and this is going back to Great Britain, to his Great Britain time, that he would just he would take all the money and put it into Bitcoin so that he doesn't have to pay taxes. It's like, you still have, that's still income. That's still taxable. That's illegal. That's tax evasion. That's what you just said it on video that you were doing tax evasion. When he says that he would tell the girls that they're getting 50% when he's actually giving them 30%, and he tells them that he is that he's paying their taxes for them, when in reality he's paying no taxes. That's fraud. So there are all kinds of crimes there are all sorts of crimes like this, but it's like, I mean, this is a big mess. You've got all this stuff right there and all sorts of other stuff that's going to come out.
Yeah. So in the case, it was noted that at the beginning of 2021, the 4 defendants constituted an organized criminal group in order to commit the crime of human trafficking in Romania, but also in other countries such as the USA and Great Britain.
That's big too. That's really big too. If prosecution in those jurisdictions also cooperate with the Romanian prosecution, that could be even bigger.
That's what that's what many of the fans of the Tates are saying right now, that that the Matrix is preparing in the UK to also start charges and a case against these brothers, so that they will not be able to enter the UK without getting in trouble. And so the issue here is, you have Romania here, which is a European Union country. You have the UK here, and you have the United States here. If these people, by any chance, escaped from Romania and went to a different country, there is almost no place in the world where they could be safe without being detained and deported to one of these jurisdictions. It is just they're in huge trouble. And if this case goes through, and if more of the charges are added to this, I'm pretty sure that they will be confined for many years. It says of the 7 injured persons, I guess this means victims, who were sexually exploited by the organized criminal group, 3 became civil parties in the criminal process. Oh, here, this part is important. The injured persons, the victims, were recruited by the foreign nationals by misleading them about the intention to establish a marriage cohabitation relationship and the existence of real feelings of love. The lover boy method. Look, it's highlighted right here. The lover boy method. The famous method of human trafficking.
In Top 3's own words, AP.
Yeah. They were later transported and housed in buildings in Ilfov County, where by exercising acts of physical violence and mental coercion through intimidation, constant surveillance, control, and invoking alleged debts. Look, this is what
see,
this
I
is
said
what
that.
David just mentioned as a famous method of human trafficking, invoking alleged debts. So like, hey, you know, I did this and that for you. I did all of these things for you, and you owe me so much money now. You can't just go. You have to work it off.
People will do that with like brand new immigrants. So you come from some other country and get off the boat in New York, and someone will come up to you, hey, I can actually give you a job. Your job will be like a maid or something like that. And then you take them in, but eventually you point out, oh, you know, you owe me $15,000 for all the help I gave you, and for giving you a place to live, and for getting you set up and food and so on. And yeah, let me tell you how you can actually work off that debt. And
yeah. I mean, they hired 2 Romanian women who are very familiar with the industry. One of them, a former police officer or whatever it is, a former law enforcement person. Why would they even have something like that if everything is just clean and nice, right?
I mean, it's pretty brilliant, by the way. You're forming a criminal organization. You get a cop.
Yeah.
You got a cop who's hot, so she can like be one of your girls at the same time as having her connections to the police and so on, and can pull strings for you, and she's got connections and so on. It's like, I mean, they set it up well. They just really are there. If he had kept his mouth shut about everything ever, he probably would have gotten away with it. But he just kept running his mouth,
maybe a little bit longer,
making people take a closer look at him.
Yeah. They were sexually exploited by group members. So, did you want to say something, Nuri? Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I'll say it later on.
Go ahead. I don't want to.
I was going to say, even his whole setup, like from the house that he bought, it was like some industrial warehouse that he converted into like this massive house. And again, like I'm saying, Romania is quite notorious for this anyway. So then it just like went in his favor when the police were like, what kind of operation have you got going on here? Yeah, for the perfect syndicate.
Yeah. They were sexually exploited by group members by forcing them to perform demonstrations of pornographic nature in order to produce and disseminate through some social media platforms materials having such a character. Yeah, I guess you know what that means. The 7 injured persons or victims identified during the criminal investigation were subjected to forced labor. And so on. Regarding the crime of rape, it was noted that in March 2022, an injured person was forced by one of the defendants through the exercise of physical violence and psychological pressure to repeatedly have sexual relations. These are 2 counts of rape in this case.
You know what's crazy is like Tate and his fans, because he's been accused of rape before, and they'll say things like, well, why are they only coming forward now, or something like that, and not years ago. And that is like, even in the United States, which he would condemn as giving too much benefit of the doubt to the victims, it's something like under 20% of rape victims actually report their rapes.
Yeah.
So like it's even lower for people who think that they are not going to be believed, right? And so people who are like a prostitute, if a prostitute gets raped, she'll almost never report it because she thinks no one's going to believe her. So it's probably girls who are webcam girls. If he does rape you, you're probably thinking, well, do I really want to go to court for this? He's going to say I'm lying about him because I'm jealous because he's got other girls, and so no one's going to believe me. And so the claim, oh, why didn't you come forward? See, you're lying. I mean, someone could be lying. People can make up stuff and say, hey, he did this to me. But it's just extremely stupid to say, if you didn't report it, it didn't happen, because most women don't report it.
So there are a few more details here that I want to quickly go into. I misunderstood what this meant at the beginning, but apparently it says here that the crimes of illegal access to the computer system and the alteration of the integrity of data. It was noted that in October 2021, just quite recently, one of the defendants illegally accessed the system belonging to one of the victims and posted on social media account belonging to her the materials that were forcibly obtained, so pornographic content, which depicted her in compromising poses. So what is being said here is that one of the one of the accused people here, took control of one of the victims of her phone or whatever, her accounts, and started posting things on her account without her knowledge or without her consent, took control of it, and that is a whole crime in and of itself. Nuria?
Yeah, no, exactly. The pictures were posted without her consent, but also the act that they were derived from was also obviously, it seems, without her consent. So, and again, AP, just even in general, what you've described above, there's so many elements of modern slavery along with human trafficking. So yeah, and then as David was saying, there's so many extra charges that could, like some summary offenses that could go along with these.
Yeah. With regard to the crimes of hitting and violence, it was noted that in October 2021, in order to punish one of the victims who refused to continue making materials of a pornographic nature and requested to be allowed to leave the building located in Ilfo County, at the instigation of one of the defendants, another defendant exercised acts of violence on the injured person. I think I read about this. They even have a transcript of a conversation that took place when this was happening.
And that is trafficking.
One of the girls stops making pornographic content and asks for permission to leave this place. She says, "Just let me go." And two people here are in charge. One of the people, I think that former corrupt police officer, and they beat the woman and tell her that she has to stay and has to continue working. They actually exercise physical violence here in this case. It says they had 15 places, 15 buildings, lands located within these different counties, all for this stuff, I guess. It also says something about dismissing different counts, charges of money laundering, influencing the law, influencing statements, trafficking minors, and human trafficking. I'm not sure exactly what this means. I would like somebody to actually translate this for me from the original. But I guess there are more charges that are either not taken in this indictment, or that are pending, or that were dismissed. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, if you don't have evidence, like I could say right now, hey, I killed 10 people, which might lead police to investigate. But if they can't confirm it, then they're going to drop it, even if it's true. And I just covered up all the evidence. You could have me saying it all day long, as long as you don't have the evidence for it, you would dismiss it. So can be things where they wanted to charge Tate based on things he said, but might not be able to actually have any evidence. And I'll give you an example. There's a recording of him telling one of the girls that he's grooming that he's this basically he uses the girls to smuggle documents as part of for crime organizations and stuff. That I think he's making it up just to sound like he's a bad boy. But notice you've got recordings of him saying that he has his webcam girls smuggle criminal underworld documents for him and so on. That could be something where police go, oh yeah, we could charge him with that. And they look into it and they're like, we can't find any evidence that he's doing that. So he's probably making it up. And so we will not charge him with that. And so.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's funny that this article ends with Mr. Tate has told his followers that he's the victim of a conspiracy by the Matrix.
What a dope, man.
A catch-all designation for what he sees as a plot by a woke elite feminists to emasculate men.
It's so dumb. If you made this up in a movie that so many people are going to fall for this, people would be like, come on, no one, it's unbelievable. But
I want to use women for pornography. I want to make money off of them, but the Matrix, they won't allow it. The Matrix sent their agents.
That's literally what's happening in the manosphere, though. It's scary stuff.
No, it's very scary. And it's really everywhere, because people don't understand. And we've talked about this before here and there, but when people start clicking up into groups that hate each other, see, normally you have people and they get along in certain ways, and then they disagree in certain ways. But when let me put it this way. If you take a human being and he's on his own, he's just going to work and he comes home and then he, you know, watches TV and stuff like that. He doesn't feel like he's under some sort of threat. If you were to explain these things, if you were to show him this stuff, he'd be like, oh, come on, this is idiotic. The Matrix. But what happens is once you feel like you are under threat from some other group, your inclination as a human being is to join a group for kind of protection, right? To protect you from that other group. Once you join this group that is protecting you from this other group, the natural inclination you have is to be demonstrating your worth to that group, because otherwise the group will cast you out and then you'll be alone again. And you don't like that because now you feel like it's you and there's this big threat that's coming down on you. You want to be part of a group when you're being threatened by some exterior force. And so what happens when you join the group is you start trying to demonstrate your worth to the group. But if you so much as question what the group is saying, they'll start the pressure. The group itself will attack you. Are you actually part of another group? Maybe you're not really part of our group, and you don't want to do that. So people start trying to demonstrate their worth to the group by increasingly mindlessly going along with anything the group says. So if you're Andrew Tate, you form your group, and it's your group versus the Matrix. Mm-hmm. Can you question anything Tate is saying? No, you can't question anything he's saying, or you're actually part of the Matrix and you're actually part of the enemy and so on. So there's this massive global conspiracy of extremely rich and powerful people trying to control everything. They're all coming at your group. You can't question anything he says. If he tells you right now, I never said any of that stuff. Okay, he never said any of that stuff. You've now been programmed and conditioned to accept anything he says, even if he is obviously lying, and any person in the world could instantly say, this guy's a compulsive liar. You can't see it anymore because the mere thought of disagreeing with him would get you kicked out of the group, and then you'd be part of the Matrix. And what the heck is that? So that's how it works.
I have people telling me on Twitter that I have people asking me on Twitter how much the Matrix is paying me. Mm-hmm. because I make a few tweets about Andrew Tate.
Yep, the Matrix is paying you the big bucks.
Like I'm making some minor tweets about Andrew Tate, like on the side, and they're like, "How much is the Matrix paying you? What are they doing for you?" People are crazy.
They gave you a Bugatti.
A girl who's in it to be with you. So you meet a girl, you take her on dates, you fuck her, whatever. She passes the PhD test. Then you start saying things like, oh yeah, but you're always working. I have to do some traveling and you can't come. I want to bring you with me. Traveling's a great one because the thing about this business is mobile. If you can find a good Airbnb with good internet, you can run it somewhere else. So it's a good little caveat to throw in. Oh, and you're always working. Why don't you work for me so we spend more time together? Work for you doing what? So you'll have a webcam business. Oh, I don't want to do that. So okay, I know you don't want to do that, but listen, come, let's have a meeting. Let's just talk about it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Fine. But let me explain it to you properly. In fact, I'll bring one of the girls who works for me.
This is a very, very important part. A very important part of how creepy it is what he does. And it's also an important part of how it is about human trafficking, what he now says.
Your bottom bitch, the new girl, you go out for fucking a nice dinner. Your bottom bitch is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear it from a girl. And this is where your bottom bitch has to be trained. That's why I said it's so important to have a good first girl. My first girl was so good, it was easy. My girl would sit there and go, oh my God, before this I was a waitress and it was shit. And now I do this, I make so much money. And the guys all love me and they adore me. And on my birthday, they send me presents. I get so much money, blah, blah, blah. It's so much fun. And we stay at home and da-da-da-da. And we're going to go to Thailand soon. We're going to be working in Thailand. And we're going to stay there for as long as you want. You should come with us. It's going to be so much fun. Da-da-da-da. Martinis, martinis, martinis. Bang. Threesome. Slam them both. Your bottom bitch knows. This girl's like, okay, well, I'll try it. Put both girls on camera together the first day. So the new girl can sit there and just sit with the other girl and get drunk. Give them a bottle of vodka. Put on the fucking chatterbait. 100 tokens per shot. The guys will send loads of money to get the girls drunk because guys like drunk girls. Girls will sit there, get drunk, have a great time. You say it's your new job now. You haven't go to work ever again. That's how you recruit girls. Do not recruit girls.
Okay. I'm not sure if it needs to be made any clearer, but I just want to break down a few things here. He meets a woman. He tries to be nice to the woman and is like tries to, I don't know, be romantic with the woman, make her fall in love with him, has sex with her to test if she's quality. That's the PhD, pimping hoes degree. Test if she's quality. When he thinks that she is quality, he then develops an emotional relationship with her, making the girl believe that he loves her and that they're going to be a nice couple together. But then he starts slowly creeping in with that whole, you work all the time. Why don't you work for me? I have a nice business and stuff like that. And then he brings one of his employees, a woman, along, who then deliberately, with the mission of recruiting that other girl, sits down and does the speaking for him, manipulates her, tells her whatever she can in order to make her accept that she should also become an employee and produce sex videos. And he wants to act fast. So he gets them together. And then once everything looks okay, once everything looks convenient, these people are together. He turns on the camera. They drink. They perform sex acts. He publishes this on Chatterbait, which is one of the live webcam websites, and people start sending money. And then he tells her, okay, this is now your job. Now you have a job. And this is only the beginning of all of it. But I'm not sure if this needs to be made any clearer, but from there on, it leads to, you are working with me now. Where are you going? You are working with me. I did so many things for you. You should be staying with me. You can't go outside. You shouldn't be going outside. You shouldn't go back to your former life. I did so many things for you. How are you going to repay me? Other girls, come on, take care of her, and so on. And then she has her own place. She has to stay there and do her work there. So he meets a girl on the false pretenses of establishing a relationship with her, and then turns her into a slave and makes her money, which she can't really use anymore because she now lives with him and can't go out anymore, and so on. This is, I don't know what to say.
And if you pay attention to what he's done and the tactics that he's used, guys, think very carefully about what he did. Was he ever really interested in the welfare of these girls? No, they were tools to get what he wanted. He had just learned how to psychologically manipulate people to loving him. And he has said, and on his description of his PhD course and elsewhere, that once you have successfully conditioned one of these girls, you can do anything. They will not even question you, right? So pay attention to that. That's his methodology. You take them step by step by step by step, conditioning them. You've planned it out from the beginning. You've done it before. You've done it before over and over and over again. But for this person, it's completely new. But now you know how to do it. You know how to take that person step by step by step into becoming a servant of your servant who will do anything you say and will not question anything you do. All Andrew Tate did recently was apply the exact same tactics to all of his fans. That's what he did. The same methods that he used to condition women. Oh, look at me. I'm someone special. Don't you want to be with me and be part of my group and be in love with me? Blah, 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 blah. He applied it to people around the globe so that you're not keep in mind, all you fans out there who are mindlessly defending anything he says, who mindlessly defend, you're basically one of his webcam girls. He used the same method that he used on his webcam girls on you. He conditioned girls to not question and to be so enthralled by him that they would not question anything he does. He did the exact same thing to you. You guys, you tater tots out there, you tater tots in the manosphere, all you red pill, blah, blah, blah. You are basically now his webcam girls. That's what you are. Yeah. Top G.
In fact, he just described the role of one of his employees as a bottom bitch who does all the whole selling for him. You who are fans of him, you are now his bottom bitches. Congratulations. Yeah. Congratulations. I want to quickly play this one, which is, I think, very Interesting.
in their house, sitting there, bored, completely in love with me. And of course, they don't go out. They're not allowed out. Like, oh, Tate's away, so they go out with their friends. No. You don't go to the club with your friends. I don't know what kind of bitch-ass dude is letting his chicks go to the club with her friends without him. No. You stay in the house. You don't go nowhere. You're not, no restaurants, no clubs, nothing.
He was just saying you're not allowed to leave. So
this is coercive control, AP. Like, that's it completely. This is that classic behavior. You isolate. You can't go out. They can't go out to eat. They can't do normal things. You are essentially in bondage, in his little servitude of slavery, and he's like getting off on them, drowning their sorrows by getting drunk on alcohol that other men have paid for, that he's set up for them to pay for, and then forcing these sexual acts to happen.
Yeah. Precisely. Here's I want to quickly bring up one thing that David mentioned a few times. This was also on his website, cobratate.com. Why am I an expert on all male-female interactions? I've been running a webcam studio for nearly a decade. I've had over 75 girls work for me. And my business model is different than 99% of webcam studio owners. Over 50... Sorry for the mouse. Something is going crazy.
We don't care. Go for it.
Over 50% of my employees were actually my girlfriend at the time. And of all my girlfriends, none were in the adult entertainment industry before they met me. So this is all his doing to people who have nothing to do with any of this stuff, and to just meet him thinking they're going to have a nice relationship with him. Yep. This is your guy.
Mm-hmm.
This is the
guy. This is the new poster boy for Islam.
Yeah, and he's highlighting his pimping services. Great.
It's ridiculous. This guy actually has all of these videos out there specifically describing the crimes that he has committed and bragging about them.
There's a video by another Muslim who was a fan of Tate, and he joined the war room and all that stuff. And he says he eventually contacted them and said, "Hey, I'm not really satisfied with what I'm getting out of this program and so on." They said, for it to really work, you have to go to actual meetings, like physical meetings in person with other war room members. And so he thought, oh, okay, well, I'll do that then. So he goes to one of the in-person war room meetings where it's another group of guys and so on. He thought he's going to go there and learn from all these businessmen. And he said he went there and he found out he was like the most knowledgeable person about social media and so on there. And everyone's asking him questions. But he said he went around the group and asked them what their business was. And they're all webcam OnlyFans pimps who had gone to the PhD program. And so he's like, I can't do this as a Muslim. Because now Tate's trying to make it look like it's this great business training, whereas in reality, it's a bunch of guys training to become webcam pimps. And he's like, okay, I'm not interested in this anymore. There
is a report from a news service. I cannot play the video. It has, I think it's part of an official documentary with music and shows some footage that is quite sensitive. But there was a report where they went to a meeting where Andrew Tate personally teaches people how to run things, and he then congratulates them for finishing the course and says, "Now let's go and enjoy and have some fun." And then they go upstairs, and this team with their camera, they are filming, and that they're showing that upstairs there is a room with naked women inside, with guys standing around, photos being taken and stuff like that. Quite creepy.
Yeah, and what's crazy is, I mean, think about this. I mean, who does this training program for manipulating women into doing porn for you and you paying money? There are guys who have done that in the past, right? Like a new pimp can learn the pimp game from some older pimp, and a pimp can take a younger pimp under his wing and teach him the pimp game. And you could have similar strategies for pornographers and so on. But this guy took it global. Like, I'm going to teach I'm going to teach young guys from around the world how to do this. Guess what? There are who knows how many thousands of guys are now have now got their girlfriends into pornography because Andrew Tate trained him to do that. And so this guy, think about it, more than anyone else in history, because again, this has always been like a one guy teaches another guy how to do this. He takes it global using the internet. This guy has trained more people how to convince women to do pornography than probably anyone else in history. And he's the hero, of Islam.
This is what pisses me off. It is not just Islam. It is also the whole manosphere, the whole red pill, the whole masculinity. Andrew Tate at least says some good things. He tells people how to live. He gives men motivation and stuff like that. These people are quite often the same people who say, these times, things have gone so wild. Look what women do all the time. Women go online and do OnlyFans and make money with that. Such, brainless, talentless whores and so on. And, this is how they make money. This is how they corrupt society. And the same people, the same absolute brainless hypocrites then go there and support Andrew Tate and think that this is just all a big plot by the Matrix and he has done nothing wrong and he's just such a good guy, when Andrew Tate is the king by his own admission and his own bragging of creating an online porn business and an online business where girls pose and create OnlyFans accounts, create TikToks where they dance and lure people to their OnlyFans accounts. So he is the master, according to himself, the god, as he likes to call himself, of doing precisely what these people are complaining about all the time, of creating this online content and of exploiting the women. Like, people complain about women going and creating their own OnlyFans account and doing their own stuff and earning their own money. Apparently that is bad. But if a guy comes in and actually creates an empire of using those women and making money off of them by creating those OnlyFans accounts, then it's actually a good guy. It's actually a fantastic guy, amazing guy. That's why the Matrix is targeting him. I mean, people who still, after today, after seeing any of this stuff, support him, you are complete, absolute hypocrites, imbeciles, and maybe you should follow this guy where he's going.
Well, AP, you know what's interesting now, what they're saying? I was just listening to a space on Twitter, and it's like the red pill community within that, they're kind of having a crisis now because they're like, oh, so the red pill community is good to to tell you how to live your life and be like, a man of high value and blah, 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 how to get women. But then what do you need to actually fix your life and stop you becoming, in their words, a degenerate, because they love that word? The thing that stops you becoming a degenerate is Islam. So they think that the red pill is threatened by Islam now because you only need the red pill movement up to a certain extent, but then you'll be a degenerate unless you live by Islam's rules, which is so ironic as well, because how much does Andrew Tate say, oh, I want to be above the law if anyone else can be? Like, even in the UK, Boris Johnson, he had parties during COVID and there's corruption everywhere, the Matrix, blah, blah, blah. He hates rules. And I was like, one day under Sharia for you, it would be a different story. But yeah, there's this contention now between Islam and the red pill and how they fit in, because some of the Muslims are like, he's smoking, he's reading the Quran naked, he's got booze in the back of half of his pictures. He's fine with premarital sex. He says God is a concept, as you tweeted amazingly. So he's causing problems.
And he said his advice to young men is to have sex with as many young women as you can to gain experience, so that you learn to distinguish a good girl from a bad girl or something like that. And so it's like, So I mean, apart from just periodically throwing Muslims a bone, what in this guy would, if you were just watching this guy and you didn't see a tweet where he will, toss out something about Allah, like what indication would you have that this guy takes anything seriously? And it's just weird because, I mean, if you can look at a man's entire history and you see him admitting that everything in his entire career has been a scam, and that he's always used manipulation to manipulate other people in order to get him what he wants. And that guy suddenly starts saying all this stuff that you agree with. How do you not go, oh, is this what he believes? Or am I the latest victim here of a chronic manipulator? How does that thought not enter your mind? oh, this guy who's done nothing but manipulate other people to get what he wants all his entire life, suddenly he's appealing to some popular views in my group. How do you not say,
read a tweet?
I need to be
Andrew
very
Tate.
whether I take this guy seriously, especially if he says, "Oh yeah, now I'm part of your religion." Like, how do you not go, well, is he serious, or is he are we the latest victims of his manipulation? But I don't know. It's just weird. Like he could, it seems like he could completely change his position on anything next week and jump into some other group, and they would all just, he's a part of our group now. Yay, we got the super popular top G. My goodness. By the way, I just want to say to everyone out here, everyone who's watching, you're not going to, the reason you have manipulators is because you have so many people who are easy to manipulate. That's why you have it. If people were harder to manipulate, then manipulation would not be this easy path to get what you want. So the reason people become manipulators is because it's built into their heads. It's built into certain people's heads. The easiest way for me to get everything I want is to dupe other people into doing it for me and giving me what I want. That's it, right? It's not me going out and doing all this work to get what I want. In the mind of a manipulator, I can actually get other people to bring it and lay it at my feet. I can dupe them into it. And in the mind of a manipulator, if you fall for this, you're stupid and you deserve to be manipulated. So you're not going to change a person's mind like that by telling him, hey, that's wrong. You can't do it. The only solution to manipulation is to become what's called a hard target. You're hard to manipulate, and you need a general population that doesn't fall for this sort of nonsense. That's how you stop a manipulator. As long as people like completely gullibly fall for any guy who says, hey, no, now I say something you agree with. You'll defend me to the death, even if I'm the biggest liar and hypocrite in the world, right? And they'll go, yeah, we'll do anything you say, top G, blah, blah, blah. As long as there are people like that, manipulators are going to take advantage of you. And I have to say, he's kind of right. If you fall for that, if you can watch a clip of him saying one thing and then saying something that's the complete opposite, and then saying, oh no, that's taken out of context. If you fall for that, he's kind of right that you do deserve to fall for it if you're that stupid. So guys, be less stupid and stop falling for that nonsense. And then you won't have everyone being manipulated.
Exactly. Nuria, did you want to add something? I'm looking for something here. Second.
No, I was sorry, David, go ahead.
No. I was just saying, he wants us to talk so he can look stuff up. Go ahead.
Okay, that was the cue. Yeah. I was going to say something and I just forgot. It was something to do with someone commented top G is top groomer, and that made me think, yeah, that's the right use of the word for him, for sure. No, but what David was saying is completely right. And if you look into like the concept of the Matrix as well, some people are saying, it's just to do with like evolutionary biology. That's fine as long as it's up to that point. But when you see the way Andrew Tate is taking it mixed with like Hustler University, when it becomes actual misogyny and hate and like a kind of like encouraging people to go out there and rape and like actively not take into account the consent of a woman or her bodily autonomy and not respect that. And then, I mean, the only way you're going to end up is like Andrew Tate is going to be on the wrong side of the law, because most likely in the country that you live in, they respect women and consent and stuff enough to prosecute you. And I think that's what with Andrew Tate now, the chickens are coming home to roost, because he thought that, getting cozy with a country like the UAE and then making a safe haven in a country like Romania, he could continue out his exploits. And like what David was saying, to try and turn this whole pimping webcam business global. But not even that, David, he went further and he's trying to advertise it as like remote working. You could go to Thailand, get an Airbnb. Like, what the hell? And there's men out there who have literally thought, okay, feminism, everything out there is against us. When it comes to brains versus brawl, they don't really have the brains anymore. And they're thinking, what's the best way for us to get women? And the only way we can do that is by exploiting women. And that's what he's taught. And that's the legacy that he's left. And I really hope the full throttle of the law comes down hard on him. But yeah, AP, I was going to head out as well, if that's okay, because it's 3 a.m. here. Sure.
Yeah. No, it's thank you for joining. It was nice having you here as always.
No, thank you so much for doing this. This was so important. And yeah, like I said, let's keep an eye on this space and watch what happens closely. But thank you guys for being on the right side.
We're doing our best. Thank you, Nuria. See you again.
Thank you so much. Take care, guys.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye. I was looking for a video that I remember, which I can't find right now, but where Andrew Tate actually explicitly says that his business was a complete scam. Like it's a total scam.
I remember that.
But it's like he explicitly explains that that his business was to take control of the women's stuff. They just pose. He takes their photos. He then chats with lonely men who are
that was he was actually breaking it down, and it was it's really like messed up that he would have the girl's phone and be so he would have like a picture of the girl, and he said then he would like message her fans on OnlyFans and say, you know, who's going to pay for my haircut? I'll send you a free pic, and then a bunch of guys would send her money for her haircut, and then he would send the same pic out, and he's sitting there. He said he would be sitting there chatting with these guys. So I mean, just think about this. You think you're sitting there talking to this hot chick from OnlyFans, and it's actually Andrew Tate before he's super famous on the other end chatting with you and oh, I really love you. Send me some more money, blah blah blah. I'd love to come and meet with you and stuff. And it's Andrew Tate. You're sitting there whacking off, talking to Andrew Tate. That's disgusting. This is the top G. This is like the hero of it's like the hero of the red pill community is a guy who is sitting there pretending to be a girl. He's pretending to be a hot girl to get money out of guys. Like, I would look at that and say, you're a freaking loser.
I mean, think about the irony of this whole thing. He admits to employing women and defrauding lonely men who are at home and who go online to flirt with these online women. He admits to defrauding them, to completely scamming them out of their money, lying to them, and this is how he gets rich. And he brags about it. He thinks, "Wow, that's great." And I did that for a long time. I would message the guy, and he thinks he's talking to this hot chick, but it's just me texting them, and he's the same guy who sits there and who talks about how men should, go out and do something, and he cares about men and all of that, while bragging about how he took advantage of those men that he talks to for money. And now he's doing the same thing by selling his course. He's selling his course to people for quite high amounts of money, to people in order to teach them how they can too go and defraud people.
And then you look at his clips. Now, I would never lie. Even if you offered me $10 million, I would not lie because I believe in the truth so much. It's like, and then his fans, oh wow, so noble, so no. My goodness, guys.
Amazing.
It's like it's to the point where like I'm almost like, why are we even responding if they're this stupid? And the reason is you're hoping that there are some people who are not completely that far gone and might actually pay attention. But it's like, if you fall for this, you guys, I want to say this. If you fall for this Andrew Tate stuff, if you are that dumb, you're going to have some problems in life, because Tate isn't going to be the first one to come along and manipulate you. You get ready for a life of being manipulated your entire life and being used by an endless array of people. That
if you're watching this stream,
there's nothing else for you. There's nothing else for you in life until you get past that insane gullibility.
If you are watching this stream, if you have seen everything that we have covered so far, and you still think the guy is innocent, and you still think the guy is good, then I'm sorry, I think you have a problem.
Top G.
You have a serious, very serious problem. And I don't know where exactly that problem is, but you have a very serious problem.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have physical strength, but I already utilize that fighting. I have this, I have that, blah, blah, blah.
Let me play this one.
But yeah, already we have him hustling for money from people. It kind of sounds scammy already, so let's see what he says he was up to.
The women who were on stream were beautiful, but they didn't have a fucking clue what to say. They were saying all the wrong shit, man. Every day they were saying the wrong shit, and we were losing customers. Everything I was telling you earlier about wanting to be innocent. They're saying, "Oh, I've been here, I've been there." I'm like, "Shut the fuck up! You're talking to some dude. You just want to hear where you've been." He knows you can't be you can't be a 10 talking about how you've been to Dubai to some fucking dude in Minnesota who's fat. He ain't gonna ever believe that he's gonna get you that way. You gotta lie to him. You gotta lie to him. She's like, "Lie and say what? Say that you've never been anywhere because you don't trust men. You can't find a man who's serious. Make him think that if he's serious about you, that nothing else matters. Wow, you got to put a famoose on it." So I'm trying to teach these women.
All right, pause that real quick.
I said,
yeah.
Think about what he's saying. He's saying, if you want to get money out of some guy who's in Minnesota, just in front of a computer screen, that guy's not going to believe he can get some really hot chick who, has traveled the world and so on. He's not going to believe it. So you have to manipulate the guy into thinking that, that he can get with you. He can get a girl who is a 10. You have to dupe him into thinking that. What does Andrew Tate then do? He then convinces people, hey, sign up for my PhD course and I can train you how to do this. So I can train you, some guy in Minnesota in front of a laptop. I can train you to be a millionaire webcam pimp. And they'll go, "Oh, really? You could do that? I could do that too." Yeah. I'm going to make you think you can do that. And then what does he do? Once he gets into his most recent phase of manipulation, now I'm here to convince you how to be a real man and fight the matrix and wokeism and stuff like that. And it's all, everything is just him duping people into thinking that they can be like him, and in order to do that, just give him money. And he's been doing that his entire career, and he's more successful than ever, apart from the charges that have finally caught up with him and so on.
He's a worldwide con man, a worldwide scammer. This is his whole business.
Phenomenal
and he's successful. Comment. He's successful with it, which just shows me one thing. And there is a dilemma that I'm always in, where in the morning I think I love humans. Humans are very intelligent beings, very nice, very cool. But then you see this guy becoming popular worldwide and scamming millions of people around the world, defrauding millions of people around the world, selling all kinds of nonsense to the world. And I think humans are incredibly stupid. Incredibly stupid.
And they get stupider. They get stupider when they feel like they're in danger and they want to cling to something. Because I mean, it's basically, if you want to cling to something when you think you're in danger, you better be very careful about what you cling to, because you are asking to be manipulated.
Yeah. Wild.
I said to him, it's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm taking over.
So there he's describing how he would handle the interactions between the women in his webcam business. So webcam business is when...
Okay. We got
brother, and eventually some staff I trained would do all the talking.
Oh, here.
He said him and his brother, and eventually staff would do
Andrew Tate.
So the chicks would sit there and hit a keyboard that wasn't plugged in. And me and my brother, and eventually some staff I trained, would do all the talking. The girls were just famoosers, just laughing and doing this, their titties out. And they were talking to fucking ice cold hustlers. We were taking their money, all of it. And they come and say, well, what kind of, all of it. We were fucking milking them dry. Women haven't got a clue how to famoose a dude. They don't have, because they rely on their looks.
So there he's describing.
These guys are sitting there and laughing about this whole stuff and how this is amazing.
They're laughing at how stupid and gullible people are that they would fall for this. And then Tate just does the same thing with his new community, and they all fall for it. He probably sits there with Tristan going, "Do you believe they're falling for this nonsense?" And they probably crack up laughing just like that.
Yeah.
Nothing.
There's some, though. There's
nothing.
There's some.
Nah. You get a man. You get a man.
So I picture that his business, which he finds so hilarious and brags about. I mean, he has employees. He has women. The women have their are topless, have their breasts out. They are on video chatting with these desperate guys, and the women have an unplugged keyboard in front of them, act like they are typing, but meanwhile, while those guys, those desperate, lonely guys, are at home paying money. Meanwhile, Andrew Tate is on the side, or his brother is on the side, or other employees, other guys are on the side, and they are actually the ones typing and
You're
sending.
talking to dudes.
You're talking, to dudes
dudes
who are doing the typing and who are trying to say the right things so that those desperate men at home will send more money, will give more of their money to him.
And there are other videos where he describes the sort of things that he would say, and he would talk about how he's basically back there typing, "Oh yeah, I'd love to come and visit you, but you know," and there are all sorts of ways depending on the guy. So notice, you would figure out what kind of guy you're dealing with, right? And so this girl who's sitting there with her breasts out, and a guy thinks he's talking to this girl, she's just, you know, randomly typing keys. It's actually Andrew Tate sitting there. And it'll be things like, yeah, you know, I really like you, but you know, I owe lots of money here and I can't even get out of the country, blah, 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 until I get out of debt. Or I'm so scared of my ex. If only I had money to get away from him and stuff like that. Oh, well, here, let me give you $5,000 to get you out of that problem right there. And it's Andrew Tate making stuff up, knowing that these guys are stupid. They've got breasts in their face, and they'll hand over cash.
What's also funny is he has been selling these courses where he tells other people to also that they can also do these things. He's been selling those courses for one of the courses was, I think, $50 a month, which had over 100,000 people subscribing. And that's where he doesn't only teach these things, he also teaches them other things like I don't know, how to run a business, how to make money through different schemes and all that. Most people there are failing. There are some videos on YouTube where people actually paid money to join and where they are exposing everything. And so there he charges $50, and then separate courses where he also sells different things. Imagine just that one channel, $50 from 200,000 people per month. How much money is that?
It's a lot of cash, man. A lot of cash.
by scamming people, by just scamming people, by giving them the illusion that they can be like him one day. But he also admits in a transcript that was obtained, which he had from a conversation that he had with one of the girls, that the people who are subscribing to his service and paying him money, they're not going to do any of this stuff because they're dumb and they're lazy. And he is doing everything. He's just charging people and making them believe that they could do it too. And that's how he gets rich. He is to this day scamming people, lying to them, and making money off of them while they are supporting him, while they are all propagating him, while they are being, as he likes to say it, his bottom bitch. So all of you Andrew Tate advocates, all of you Andrew Tate fans who are still supporting him and still defending him, you are all his bottom bitches.
Yeah, I'm a Christian. I can't use that term, so I'll call you his bottom bees. Hey, bottom bees, how y'all bottom bee tater tots out there doing?
Oh boy, it is truly disgusting. It is truly disappointing. But I am happy today. I woke up seeing those news. They made me very happy. I am still very happy, and I will be happy to see how all of this continues. Yep. People like this need justice. They need to be brought to justice. If you have missed this, if you have just joined and you think, oh, you're just talking about trash about Top G, and you're just brainwashed by the media, you just like to be part of the Matrix, go back, watch the whole stream, go through everything that we have gone through, all of the videos, all of the articles, everything that we have shown here. If you still end up saying, I don't believe this, he's innocent, it's the Matrix, then you are a complete idiot. Then you're retarded. I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say. But
yeah, and Yeah, I'll add everyone. Please share this stream on social media with a comment like that. Something like, "Hey, if you watch this and you still think Tate is a great guy, I would say get used to being a bottom B for the rest of your life. Because even if Tate goes to jail and prison, and we don't hear from him for 10 years or something like that, someone else is just going to jump in and fill that spot. There will always be people ready to jump in and take advantage of people who are gullible enough to fall for this. So, and I mean, if you look at this and you fall for this, I can't think of too much that you wouldn't fall for.
Yeah, maybe you will fall for, someone brought it up in the chat, but maybe you will fall for the Nigerian prince who sends you an email and says that you have a relative or something like that. But Daniel Odutola said, but scamming is not human trafficking. Yes, I never said scamming is human trafficking. Go back to the beginning of the stream, watch the whole thing. We have actual evidence of human trafficking. What matters now is that it is handled in front of the court and that he is sentenced and convicted. Human trafficking is already proven. It is already out there. It is already proven, right? It only needs to be proven in front of the law now by all of the standards of the law so that he can be convicted.
Yeah, look at this. This is so stupid. That's like saying scamming isn't rape. Yeah, we know that. They're separate things. We talked about the rape. We talked about the human trafficking. We talked about this stuff. These are different things. What we're saying is now, suppose, you don't know what's going to happen with the evidence in court and something like that. Learn about the person you're dealing with. He spent years bragging about scamming people and manipulating people and using people to get what he wants. Now he's using the exact same method globally to dupe people into sending him money, and everyone's falling for it. And then these are the mindless responses you get, but that's not trafficking. My goodness, man.
Yeah. I will not be able to go through all of the super chats. This was an unplanned stream, so I'm just now scamming all of the people who have made super chats. But I will see if there's anything to highlight here. What does I think about all of this? No idea.
I know. He's proud of that.
He's proud of that. Can you imagine debate with Mike Winger and Mohammed? You've been destroyed, boy. Turn off that sissy blue light. What else? But thank you again very much, Ali. Top G might become bottom G in prison. See you later, Allah Tater.
Actually, his little bit of description from that interview where he talked about how he acted in prison, he might be okay in prison. I mean, one, if he goes to prison, it's probably going to be him and Tristan. They are two trained fighters. But his description, I mean, he actually talks about manipulating people in prison and getting them to like him and so on. So he might be. You got two trained fighters running their mouths about being top G's and stuff like that. He actually might be okay if he's a professional manipulator. Keep in mind, so he might adapt. If he went in there, I'm the top G, I'm the greatest man ever, he'd get the crap kicked out of him real quick. But if he goes in there using his skills to get along with other people, he might actually be okay. But it's still going to suck because it's
he also tries to turn this into a sob story while pretending that it is not a sob story, while pretending that he's totally fine. Like he's like, oh, I had to share a room with cockroaches and I had to cover my food so the cockroaches don't eat it, despite all of the struggles that we had. And my brother, he never lost his cool. He was completely nice, and we had some really good time, and we laughed about a lot of things. Just stop it, man. He said years ago in an interview that if he went to jail, he would be very depressed or something like that. Apparently, he wasn't really anticipating this, but now he's of course completely trying to change the image of it. Top G, yeah, looks like Sneeko is having a really bad week. Tate aligns with the devil. Fun fact, Tate means scrotum in Hindi. Andrew is a narcissist, absolutely. Guys, have you ever thought about ganging up all anti-Dawa champions to create a site with verse after verse, refutation with the Dawa Muppets claims? I have.
Yeah, I've actually wanted to do that. Like the standard claims, like just a list. Okay, you're going to see the same stupid stuff over and over again until it's being mass refuted. So here's the refutation to post whenever they say this stupid thing.
Yeah. Saint Child Miracle Worker said he wasn't Muslim when he was doing those things. He was non-practicing Orthodox Christian. Religion has nothing to do with someone being a creep or groomer. I agree. They appear in all religion or no religion. I agree.
Yeah, this
people
person
who-
is this piece. When we talk about Tate's connection to Islam, it's one, why is he deciding to pursue Islam when he did? Is it part of a scam, or was he attracted to things in Islam? I mean, he specifically said it. He specifically said before he converted, he was saying things like, but you know, in Islam, they'll kill people. They'll kill people for disrespecting their prophet. And I admire that. So he admired the misogyny, the treatment of women. He admired the willingness to kill over things. So these are the things he said. But really, when we're talking about Islam, that's not what we're talking about. You can have a complete scumbag who, I mean, if you actually pay attention, when we're talking about Tate and Islam, we're usually pointing out how everything he's doing is the opposite frequently of what Islam would advocate. So we're not saying, he's getting this from Islam. He was doing this a long, long time before. And he's the sort of person where I won't take anything he says seriously. Whatever he says, if he says he's a Buddhist tomorrow, I would not believe him, because he is a chronic compulsive liar.
Absolutely.
Once you've destroyed your credibility, I don't take anything you say seriously. Our point in talking about Islam is, guys, so he was an Orthodox Christian. How many I've seen Muslims pointing this out. How many Christians were celebrating him when he said he's a Christian? Running around, our savior, the guy who's going to save our community. You see, he converted to Christianity from atheism. This is our new hero, our new poster boy. How many people did you see that running around? This proves that our religion is true. I never saw one. I didn't even know. I hadn't heard of him. And then he converts to Islam. And suddenly he's paraded around the world. And then anything he does, it doesn't matter what he does. They still defend him. We're pointing to Tate to point out a problem. Why is Islam like this? You'll remember, AP, when Tristan Tate said, hey, my brother Andrew gets piles of mail from Muslims around the world celebrating him. I haven't gotten one single letter from a Christian supporting me. And it's like, because you're a sex trafficker, we're not going to support. Of course we're not. And so think about that. So that's the point. Anyway, the point is that's what we're saying. We're saying, what is it about Islam that makes them celebrate someone who is obviously lying in their face and he's involved in sex trafficking and so on? And we start to think maybe it's got something to do with Muhammad, possibly, since he was a sex trafficker. And you look at Islam and what's Allah's promise of paradise? Yeah, you spend eternity deflowering virgins and so on. Maybe this stuff just isn't as bad in Islam, and that's why they're so cool with it.
There are also past tweets that I never got into and that I never showed, where for years, he praised Islam on his old Twitter account for treating women like trash, for putting women in their place, for, I don't know, all of these things, the stuff that he says nowadays. He was basically praising Islam for many years before he converted, before he ever got in touch with the Muslim Dawa people, just for how intolerant and how misogynistic it is, by his own admission. So
yeah, and by the way, the entire time, anytime he said something, I mean, even when he's advocating, he's selling his course on pimping hoes, anytime he would say something supporting Islam, I really admire the way they will just kill someone who disrespects their prophet. Muslims would use, top GC, we love you, blah, blah, blah. He realized over time, this is the group that will defend me no matter what I'm doing. I can be as evil as I want. I can continue this supreme depravity. And as long as I throw a bone to their religion, they will defend me to the death and celebrate me and praise me no matter what I'm doing. He caught on, and lo and behold, he converted. Shocker.
I was wondering if I should go into his past tweets about Islam. Okay, not necessary. We have done enough. Andrew Tate has nothing to do with Manosphere. He's a grifter trying to scam people. I'm sure you see that now. I hope everyone sees that. That's the point. That's the whole struggle here.
I don't take anything he says seriously, right? When you're dealing with someone who has built his entire life on manipulation and deception and scamming people, that's the point. When you've destroyed my ability to trust you at all, you could be saying something that you really believe, but you also say the same. You would also say that if you're scamming people. So it's like, I don't know whether anything you say is part of your scam or you're telling the truth. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Can't trust you.
For Gedalia, a bone for Gedalia. Or is it a bone? No, that's a that's not a bone. That's a what do you call it? I forgot the word.
That's a wrench.
Yeah, wrench. Okay, that's a wrench. Sims be gaslighting about the manosphere. I watch manosphere videos and visit forums, and even the police is watching them. Okay. I don't want to say anything about any of these things that I think anything about right now, because I think I don't want to pass any judgments on any, I don't know, social groups or beliefs or anything. This should just be an enlightening thing about Andrew Tate and what a piece of work he is, and it should appeal to every single person who is watching, no matter who you are and where you are.
That's a funny quote.
They say pimping ain't easy, but what they won't tell you is that it is much, much more difficult being a prostitute. Norm MacDonald. Yeah. Yeah. Misogyny kills women. Yes. Huh? Wasn't this the same person who just said? I don't know. That's interesting. Homely writes, this is why the men worth their salt are walking away from this degenerate society. Men are mocked just for sharing their feelings, and I'll be mocked just for these super chats. I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, thank you. We're certainly not attacking Andrew Tate for just representing a struggle of men or anything. Victim Olympics going on in here. I think these people are fighting. That's interesting. Cat Canada said, I just clipped the top groomer clips for Twitter. Thanks for compiling them into this live stream. Oh yeah, thank you. Follow Cat Canada on Twitter. She does great work as well. And yeah. The Chelskin said he's literally a world-famous Nigerian prince. He had to carry the Quran with him like a lawyer just to show it off. Tate is Momo reincarnate in misogyny department. How exciting to witness. This conversion is very believable. I find it funny that he got so offended by when the BBC reporter or interviewer said to him something like that his whole message comes with a side order of misogyny. He got so upset about that, when in the past he described himself as a misogynist.
Yeah, repeatedly.
So the guy just twists and twists and twists and jumps around, and people just buy into it.
Yeah, on that carrying a Quran to court, it's like, are you going in there and planning on doing any reading in court? No. Why are you carrying the Quran around? Yeah. You know what's funny is this is actually famous in prison when guys would go up for parole and they would carry a Bible or a Quran in with them, and it's like it would be guys who you never ever see reading, but then they try to walk into their parole hearing with it, and other inmates would make fun of you. Like, you seriously think you're the first person to think of that? Do you think you're going to walk in there and they're like, oh, this guy brings in a Bible, or he brought in a Quran, so we'll think that he's really reformed? Do you think these guys haven't seen that thousands of times? They have like 30 or 40 parole hearings a day, and you think we make fun of it, and then Andrew Tate goes on, oh, I'll carry. But what's funny is he carries a Quran, and alhamdulillah, he's got a Quran in his hand going to court. Why? Do you think he's going into court reading the Quran? Do you seriously think that? Or does he know there are cameras rolling and that there are millions of Muslims who are going to look at that and praise him for it?
The thing I don't get is in Romania, flashing a Quran while dealing with law enforcement and authorities is probably not going to make them think very well of you. I guess he's just trying to appeal to the public, to the Muslims, but then that is very, very myopic. It's very short-sighted. Why in the world would you be doing that? What are you going to change about what is currently happening to you? Nothing at all.
Yeah, you're just going to get it seems like he's just throwing a bone to people who are going to defend him online.
He's a complete idiot. Humbly rise, another for Gedalia. This time I know the word. It's a wrench. Good work, yo. Thank you, Gedalia. By the way. I don't know if I haven't even seen Gedalia here. I'm not even acknowledging her existence. Wow. No, Gedalia is here. Thank you so much. And Black Angel and all the others. Thanks, everybody. We believe in you. We believe we are leaving. Again, watch the whole thing from the very beginning. Go to all the sources, everything we have shown and read and mentioned. Do your own research. Look up all of the sources. Everything can be found very easily nowadays on the internet. You don't have to trust the media. You can just find all of it, as I did today, and compile all of it and make up your opinion. It's quite clear. The guy is a scumbag, and yeah.
I think I want to make a series going through basic manipulation tactics that everyone keeps falling for.
Yeah.
They're so straightforward. Once you know them, you see people using them. For some reason, people keep falling for them. And because people keep falling for them, people keep using them. And if people didn't fall for them because they knew what they were, and they could spot it and say, that's positive reinforcement. That's intermittent reinforcement. That is traumatic one trial learning. If they knew what they were, then they might stop falling for them. So yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Something to keep in mind.
AP versus Top Groomer. It's
Top Groomer.
It's Top P versus Top G.
Top P. You don't want to be called Top P though.
I do actually. Ahmad Qadi said you did your own research. LOL. Yes, I actually did, and I recommend it to you too. So I do my own research because I'm a high value man.
Because I'm a top G.
I'm a top G. I always do my own research. And yeah. Anyway, man, I tried to listen to that 4-hour. I actually did listen to this 4-hour interview between him and that other guy, and it was torture. It was mental torture. Listening to that guy who yells into the microphone the whole time about how great he is, and it is 4 hours of him explaining that he's the greatest and he's comparable to Genghis Khan and Alexander the Great, and everybody loves him because he's so great. And he's actually a very innocent guy because he's so great. Like that's the whole summary of that. And Islam is a great religion, and he of course converted to Islam because he's great, and he's so successful because he's great, and so on. Well, one very funny part of it was though, he said something like during that interview. He says, I don't have to go and be more successful and do all of these things, but Genghis Khan didn't have to conquer Vienna. He could have just chilled. That's what he says. And I'm there thinking, what? So I'm listening to it again. And he says the same thing again. And later in the conversation, he says it again. And he reveals at some point that this is what his brother, Tristan, told him. He said, hey, Genghis Khan didn't have to conquer Vienna. He could have just chilled, just like that. You don't have to do all of these things. You can just chill. And then I don't know if people are catching this, but Genghis Khan never even went near Vienna. He didn't conquer Vienna. He probably never even heard of Vienna in his own time. The Mongols did later on, long after his death, reach Europe and attempt to take Vienna, but that was long after his time. So it's very, very funny that he's trying to act like he knows all of this stuff and acts like a great guy, but he's a moron.
Yeah, I have to listen to it again, but he was talking about the Matrix was coming after me for the same reason that after they sunk the British ship, they came after the Nazi. It's like, wait, are you the Nazis in your analogy? Wait, what?
Right.
Like, wait, what? It's like, guys, there's certain things you don't want to. It's like and then the Matrix is storming me like the Allies stormed the beaches of Normandy and D-Day, and it's like, what? It's like, what? No, he didn't say that, but the point is he uses analogies where he's the Nazis.
Yeah.
I don't know, so weird.
Messed up. All right, anyway, thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you again. Have a fantastic day. David has nothing else to say, and I will now play this last clip and take care, everybody. And with that said,
stay away from Islam.